In this special report, we take a look at the top 10 major project trends in the GCC construction sector. My name's Phil Higgins, and thanks for joining us. Well, the GCC comprises of Saudi Arabia, the largest construction market as of 2021, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, and Bahrain. Well, this region has been a construction powerhouse for many years, and with trillions worth of ongoing and planned projects, it's expected the region will continue to remain strong for many years to come. However, due to recent world events that continue to cause economic change, we are seeing a shift to some of the major project trends that will drive the activity from the forefront in the near future. These are our top 10 project trends for the GCC region. With a lot of focus on climate change, by decarbonizing energy sources and reducing the use of fossil fuels, the region's oil producers are pinning hopes on green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, and ammonia as an alternative way forward to help them continue to be at the helm of the global energy ecosystem. Huge investments have already been announced by the energy heavyweights in this space, and some of the players to watch are ADNOC and ADQ, who formed the Abu Dhabi Hydrogen Alliance to continue a roadmap to accelerate the country's adoption and use of hydrogen in major sectors. The Oman's Ministry of Energy and Minerals, MEM, is establishing a national hydrogen alliance branded High Fly to place Oman firmly on the top of the development and deployment of clean hydrogen. Oman's OQ announced recently that as part of an international consortium, it is developing one of the biggest green fuel projects in the world. Saudi Arabia aims to develop the world's largest green hydrogen project after an agreement was signed by Air Products, ACWA Power, and NEOM. The $5 billion green hydrogen-based ammonia production facility will be located in NEOM and will produce green ammonia for export to global markets. Also, Abu Dhabi Port's subsidiary announced the formation of a green ammonia production facility in which privately owned Helios Industries plans to invest over $1 billion. Photovoltaics is another trend that continues to accelerate throughout the region. Utility projects are considered priority projects for the region, with lots of ongoing and planned power and water projects. According to the World Energy Council, the GCC will require 100 gigawatts of additional power over the next 10 years to meet demand, and as per a report released by International Renewable Energy Agency, photovoltaic technology is now the most competitive form of power generation in the Gulf region. In Saudi Arabia, power purchase agreements were signed for 7 solar photovoltaic contracts recently that have a combined capacity of nearly 3,000 megawatts. Contracts awarded include the 1,500 megawatt Sudair Solar PV as part of a 1.47 gigawatt scheme under the second round of National Renewables Energy Program. Some other upcoming photovoltaic projects are QP Industrial City's solar photovoltaic project in Qatar, floating solar photovoltaic plant in Dubai, a 500 megawatt solar photovoltaic power plant in Al Quwain, both of these projects in the UAE, photovoltaic schemes in Sagaya Renewable Energy Complex in KSA, and the 15 megawatt photovoltaic solar project in Al Diriyah, Oman. The region's oil majors' growth blueprint indicates that they are placing more emphasis on boosting their downstream segment. Although some of the major petrochemical projects slowed in the wake of the challenging oil prices and the pandemic, the medium to long-term growth plan for all countries remains in place. Even with the short-term slowdown, there are still many high-valued projects expected to start construction soon and drive project spending across the oil and gas value chain. ADNOC had announced that it intends to transform itself into a global downstream major by investing $45 billion to create an integrated refining and petrochemicals complex in Ruwais by converting the Ruwais industrial complex into a downstream Silicon Valley of the world. Saudi Aramco's downstream strategy is to raise its overall refined output to 8 to 10 million barrels per day and petrochemicals production to 34 million tons per year, excluding the SABIC production, from the 16.6 million tons that it experiences today by the start of the next decade. Some of the major upcoming petrochemical projects in the region include the Borouge 4 petrochemical plant in the UAE, Emira Petrochemical Complex in KSA, Advanced Global Investment Company's petrochemical project in Jubal, KSA, and in Qatar, petrochemical complex at Ras Lafain Industrial City and the polyvinyl chloride plant, Gen Oil Refinery in Dhaka, Oman, and Al Zur Petrochemical Complex, Alfins 3 in Kuwait. Also the Aromatics Complex in Bahrain. Social infrastructure projects have been and will continue to remain a major contributor to the region's construction activity, with all governments in the region being proactive in improving the living conditions as well as the standards for its population. Some of the projects worth mentioning are Roshan developments in Riyadh, Eastern Province and the Western region, Marouj Jeddah, both developments in KSA, 25,000 low-cost housing project in Bahrain, Al Riyadh City and Banias North housing development in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, South Jarrah Labour City in Kuwait, just to name a few. But it's not just housing projects that we are talking about. In addition to these are a string of education and healthcare projects to support these housing developments as well. Changing the urban landscape and exponentially increasing recreation areas as well as nature reserves is another focus area for major GCC cities. Dubai 2040 urban plan unveiled by Dubai's ruler Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum identifies nature reserves and rural natural areas will constitute 60% of Dubai's total area. Green corridors will be established to link the service areas, residential areas and workplaces, facilitate the movement of pedestrians with bicycles and sustainable mobility means across the city in coordination with developers and government departments. Saudi Arabia also announced that it will work to restore, conserve, and will be sustainably managing 1 billion hectares of land by 2040. The Saudi Green Initiative aims to plant 10 billion trees, the same as rehabilitating 40 million hectares of degraded land. As part of the plan, 30% of the kingdom, or 600,000 square kilometers, will be protected areas, and efforts will be made to protect coastal environments. The Middle East Green Initiative will launch a similar plan for the region, in which Saudi Arabia will work with countries to plant 50 billion trees across the Middle East region. Some of the upcoming landscaping and recreational projects throughout the region include Green Riyadh KSA, Coral Garden in Fujairah, Sharjah Botanical Garden and the cycle track from Utha area to Malia area in the UAE. In Bahrain, there is the Sanad Garden, and in Kuwait, we have the development of cycle and jogging tracks in Al Wakar. Refurbishment and repurposing of existing buildings is an area we expect to see a lot of interest and activity in the years to come. With so many hotel buildings in the region, refurbishment will be a regular affair. The region has a lot of buildings that needs refurbishment and retrofit. Refurbishment also calls for the assurance that buildings are more energy efficient and environmentally friendly, which in itself is another subsector. With a lot of offices now downsized with people permanently working from home, demand for commercial buildings will be affected, especially the old and less maintained buildings. Repurposing the commercial buildings is being considered by the asset owners in order to save the asset from further losing money if they just remain the same. The same is being considered by certain residential building owners, which are not attracting the expected tenancy mix. Restoration of historical sites and buildings is also gaining attention. As part of improving the tourism and cultural landscape of the countries, life extension refurbishment projects are of strategic importance for energy and infrastructure industries as well. Public-private partnership or PPP project model has been limited to mostly power and water sector in the region for many years. But over the past year, we've witnessed more PPP activity being adopted in other sectors, including but not limited to healthcare, education and transportation. Some examples being Al Ansar Hospital in Medina, Al Khobar waterfront mixed-use development, bus rapid transit system in Al Medina Al Manawara in Saudi Arabia, schools development in Qatar, UAE, KSA and Kuwait, car and bus parking areas in the UAE and Qatar, and the community market development projects in the UAE, just to name a few. Well, according to the National Center for Privatization and PPP in Saudi Arabia, the kingdom has a pipeline of more than 100 upcoming projects. The power and water sector still continue to prefer the PPP route on many big ticket projects, and a few of those upcoming projects include the Renewables Energy Program in KSA, Facility E in Qatar, a 3.5 gigawatt gas-fired independent power plant in Tayyiba, KSA, and the Nuwaysib IPP in Kuwait. With FIWA already changing the entire landscape of Qatar, other GCC countries are also investing heavily in their sports infrastructure, with UAE recently chosen to host the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in 2021 and a few other cricketing tournaments. Qatar announced its interest to host the future Olympics, as the region is already on the radar to be a host for many major sporting events. Entertainment is also another area which is drawing a lot of investment in the near future. Saudi Entertainment Ventures, also known as Seven, have announced that they will develop entertainment complexes in Jeddah, Mecca, Medina, Taif, Yanbu, Al-Kaj, Buraidah, Abnar and Khamis, the port of Jazan, Tabruk, Al-Hamra, Al-Nada, among other locations in Saudi Arabia. In addition, Seven will bring waterfront attractions to Dammam and the Al Khobar regions. Other major upcoming sporting and entertainment projects in the region include the Sports Entertainment Center in Igala, Kuwait, Entertainment Hub in DIFC in the UAE, Entertainment Arena in Al Diriyah Festival City, and the Sports Boulevard in Riyadh, both projects in Saudi Arabia, and in Bahrain, the Sports City in Sakir, just to name a few. Building local industrial capacity is high on the agenda in the GCC nations. The recently announced Operation 300 billion aims to develop the UAE's industrial sector and aims to raise the industrial sector's contribution to the GDP from $36 billion to $81 billion by 2031. Saudi Arabia launched its Made in Saudi program, which aims to support industries to grow their local footprint and boost export to priority markets. Under Qatar's National Vision 2030, the country's manufacturing sector is expected to employ more than 100,000 people by 2025 and will see a 30% increase in the value of production between 2019 and 2025. Oman has launched several new industrial parks since 2020, including Mudabi Industrial City, Ibra Industrial City, Oman Nano City and Sur Industrial City, and the Tamrat Industrial City, among others. food security, and automobile manufacture are among the major sector contributing projects in the region. Some of the major projects worth mentioning include the hydrogen-powered vehicles assembly plant in Neom, Lucid Motor manufacturing plant, both projects in Saudi Arabia, special utility vehicle manufacturing plant in Dhaka, Oman, and the electric bus assembly factory in Qatar, electric vehicles city in Kuwait, vertical farms in Abu Dhabi and Dubai Industrial City, and a tomato farm in Kizad, all in the UAE, a high-tech smart farm in Kuwait, and fish farming in Neom. Well, any top 10 construction trends list for the region these days must include Saudi Arabia's Neom, one of the largest project developments in the world. The value of the Neom vision is more than the construction markets in many countries. Neom will be a smart, cognitive city where world-class technology will be fueled with data and intelligence to interact seamlessly with its population. Construction is already underway on many packages within Neom, and many other packages are on the drawing boards. However, detail on the bulk of the work is yet to be announced, but the larger-than-life scheme is expected to offer busy days ahead for the construction industry participants. The project will form a blueprint for future smart city projects, not only in the region, but for the entire world. Well, that's it for our top 10 construction trends for the region. Here at Ventures Onsite, we aim to keep you abreast with major construction news, trends, key statistics, and analysis for the region so that you can stay informed and stay competitive. With the Ventures Onsite Construction Tracker, you can be kept informed with ongoing and planned construction projects in the Middle East and Africa region. Well, my name's Phil Higgins for Ventures Onsite. We hope this project trends review has helped you better understand more of what's in store for the construction industry throughout the entire GCC region.